All right, here we are. Teach Me Communism Debate Night in America edition.
I'm just mad that I'm here right now.
Mad at having witnessed what you witnessed.
It was just a shit show.
Oh my God, it was so terrible. First of all, our heart goes out to any of our comrades who watched it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry you did that to yourselves.
I didn't do anything, but I'm still sorry that you went through that.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
Second of all, I want to give my thoughts and prayers and condolences to the family of Chris Wallace, the moderator.
I'm worried
who was killed
about
on
him.
stage.
Yeah, he is dead. He died in the first quarter. That was his ghost for the last bit there, just kind of hauntingly every now and then saying, please don't interrupt each other.
I am the moderator.
I am the moderator. It was so sad.
It was, what was that? Those are my big,
Yeah, broad strokes.
yeah.
I mean, I was struck by how quiet we were. I mean, we were taking notes, so I think that was part of it. Mm-hmm. But, I only, viciously cackled a few times. It was just so upsetting the rest of the time.
It was dismal. It was funny, though. I thought it was, there was a lot of top-notch. You have to be
You have to be in the right mindset.
that was really top-notch gallows humor or, I'm laughing, but the world around me is burning down humor. Because, there were some pretty funny
There's some funny
zingers and, whatever, you're a loser. Just shit that Trump would say.
So many snide comments.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy, is a fascist who's gonna, do his best to destroy everything, but, it was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. That was rough. That was pretty rough.
It was crazy. What really made me sad to think about was picturing what might have been
Yeah.
if Bernie was up there.
Yeah, same here. I had the same thought. I thought about it especially when they were talking about the Green New Deal and stuff, and Biden just being blatantly nope, I don't support it.
Yeah.
And so many times, and I made this note several times, Trump would come at him from the left and saying well, what about the crime bill? What about you not doing anything about climate change? What about XYZ?
Yeah.
And if we had a real socialist up there, they'd get called a socialist, but they'd be yeah, well, I have said the same fucking thing since I was came out of the womb with my old man hair. So
Yeah. And I think, obviously, our show doesn't think that Bernie is super socialist. He's, a social democrat or whatever. Yeah. But still, if we had someone who was really trying to be from the left.
So,
all right. Let's take it from the top then.
Okay. Do you want to talk about our predictions we had beforehand? I mean, we posted those on our stories, but...
Okay, yeah, we can.
They will have expired by now. That's how social media works.
I did not know. I thought that was a permanent record. So we can elaborate on that a little bit. You want to go first?
Sure. I'll just read mine for Biden, which was, honestly, I'll be surprised if this guy stays awake the whole time. He's going to be fumbling and bumbling, and he was.
Wow, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was expecting more of a peppy first half and then a fade,
They was just fade all the way.
It was bad from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't, he didn't do anything that was just forgot anybody's name that was super crucial, but still.
He couldn't put a sentence together.
Yeah.
He had no connective words, no withs. He would just say nouns. It was very weird.
It was halting.
My prediction was Trump was going to be very proud of not paying taxes, which he was. And he'll paint the U.S. as a hellscape, but not in the way that it is.
Yeah.
He'll take the wrong points about it. I thought the audience would do more. I don't know how many people they had in there, but I didn't even know there was going to be an audience or not. So.
I thought that there wasn't. And then I was surprised. Oh, there will be an audience. But then it was it seemed like 26 people or something.
Yeah. I thought they would do more shit though. I thought they would applaud or boo or something. So,
yeah, they didn't really do a lot.
They really didn't. They didn't even clap.
No.
What about you? What was your predictions? You had some good ones.
So I figured Trump his main thing would be, I'm the law and order candidate.
Which he definitely did.
Biden's Antifa,
Yep.
I predicted that the attacks on his taxes would just not stick. He would deflect around and just be yeah, whatever, Fake news, it didn't happen. Or then, everyone does it or you can't prove it. And then you were in charge anyway. You made the tax code. Sucks to be you.
All that happened.
I figured he would claim victory on COVID. I thought that he would call Biden Sleepy Joe to his face, but I don't think he did.
He did not, as far as I know.
He didn't use his trademark nickname there. We have yet to see. We haven't really checked in with the reaction in the media, but I think that the media will condemn him. His whole performance is unpresidential. I still think guaranteed to happen based on how he acted there.
I mean, I'm already on Twitter and I see it happening.
Yeah, well, okay, there you go. And 3-point poll boost is what Trump's getting from this, I think.
Nate Silver.
From his supporters. And when it bore out, I think that's a knockout performance from his supporters' point of view.
I mean, I think he won.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I don't support him, but I think he won. Like, he completely got under Biden's skin. He did a good job of attacking both from, like his supporters' point of view and also from the left. Like, he is really good at sowing that division.
Yeah. That was pretty weird that he managed to. I guess it was because they were in completely different segments that he would do it. You know, when it was Law and Order, he would attack from the right. When it was
taxes and Green New Deal, things that like maybe sound a little more reasonable.
Yeah, he would attack from the left. So for Biden, I thought he was going to have a peppy first half. I thought his basic argument would be Trump's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad president. I'm a good guy. I'll be a good president. You know, that.
There was a variation on that theme.
I also thought he would lean more on Barack Obama.
He never even said his name, as far as I could tell. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I did not track him saying his name once.
He said a lot of R or we.
He said we. He said I was asked to do this, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he was apparently half in charge of the Obama administration.
Yeah, this is news to me.
I thought that he would clear the low bar of expectation set for him, but would get no poll change from it, basically. I had a couple wild guesses for each one.
Yes.
None of them really bore out, but my wild guess for Trump was that he would accuse the moderator of supporting Antifa, which, he picked on him and he really tried to rock him, but he didn't do that.
He didn't do that.
And then for Biden, he would challenge Trump to a fight. He would say, let's take this outside, Mac.
He did say, shut up, man, which was great.
Yeah, and he really, he was really angry. He didn't challenge him to a fight, so
no.
We'll wait till next debate for that.
I'm sure it'll fucking happen. At this rate, I don't even know.
They're gonna when they come on stage next time, they're gonna look at each other and spit on the ground or something.
I hope so. That is my first note. I guess my second note. But when they came out, since they couldn't handshake, Biden just did this weird little shrug, like, "Oh, you're here."
Yeah, fancy seeing you here.
It was really funny.
Thought I told you never to show your face here again. They mentioned, this was kind of a side note, but they mentioned the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Yeah, what's that about?
Beginning. It's this crazy rigged thing, basically. It's rigged by the two major parties. It's an agreement between their campaigns, and they've been doing this since the late 80s.
Yeah.
When in one of those debates or something, somebody didn't like a moderator or something, and so they had this tiff with the League of Women Voters who used to run this thing in a very nonpartisan way, and they were going to let this guy named John Anderson be at a debate, who was a third-party person, because he was, people were interested in his ideas and stuff. And then I don't remember which candidate, but they were just no, we're not going to go to the debate if John Anderson's there.
What the fuck?
And so the next time they had a presidential election, the two parties got together, they set up this commission on presidential debates, and they were like, we're going to set the rules here. We're going to agree to the rules. We're going to exclude the third parties. And if candidates agree to be in our debates, they have to agree that they're not going to be in any other debates run by anybody else, so that there cannot be any third party debate.
That's so
parties in
shitty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real shitty.
Essentially just completely stops the third party. I mean, they already didn't have a chance, but super not have a chance.
But yeah, they're definitely not going to there. Starting out at the top, they had the Supreme Court was the first question, because as we all know, the biggest problem facing America right now is the nomination of one of 9 justices to the Supreme Court, rather than the pandemic or a crumbled economy or climate change.
Yeah. I thought it was very fascinating that they went almost the entire time talking about the Supreme Court and barely touched on abortion. Just little nudged it,
Yeah, it makes sense from the candidate's point of view.
It's
The
too
moderator
much
probably should have brought it up, but like the candidate's point of view, you don't gain anything one way or the other. Your supporters
they're
are
already
there.
figured it out.
They're either they figured out their position.
Yeah.
And they're either for you because of it, or they're for you despite of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't move them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of a slow start by Trump. I thought he was kind of testing the water. He really didn't have any. He's not a good leadoff batter. he needs shit to feed off of. Yeah.
I would say on the Supreme Court thing, I think Trump won on this one. It does make logical sense that you're elected for a certain amount of time, and that's when you get to do shit. The reason we don't like it, it's because it's him, and like we fucking tried to make the same argument before. Like we were just on the wrong side of this, basically. Like there's not a way around it.
Yeah. Yep. I'm 100% on board with that observation that based on the Democrats' own logic from last time.
Yeah, with Merrick Garland.
That's what they argued, was that the president has the right to make this appointment and to get it confirmed by the Senate.
Yep. And this was even earlier when that happened, right?
Yeah.
That was like
there
in
was
March.
more time left, I think. And they still, they gummed up the works or whatever. And so now it's hard for them to make the argument then that like, no, we should now wait for an election.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's logically the same thing. And I think that even Trump kind of had a off observation here by claiming like, oh, the Democrats would do the same thing if they were in our shoes. They would not be able to.
No, they couldn't.
I think that they would not have the spine to.
No, I was going to say.
Worry, right? Oh, we don't want to look bad.
No, yeah.
And then B, how the hell are they going to get Joe Manchin's ass to do this? How are they going to get all of the shitty centrist Democrats to do any of it? They wouldn't. They wouldn't be able to. So I thought that was stupid.
Yeah, they don't have the balls for it, frankly.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think from more of our show's point of view, the argument of the Supreme Court, whether you should or shouldn't do things, should be a lesser concern to you than why the Supreme Court is such a high stakes thing.
Yeah. I saw many variations on the tweet of why should one 87-year-old dying of natural causes throw everything into chaos? Like, maybe that's not a great system you got there.
The Supreme Court's highly undemocratic.
Yeah,
We're
completely.
for democracy. We should be looking at ways to minimize the Supreme Court's powers.
Yeah.
You should have less power. People should have more power to democratically decide their future.
Yeah. And their lifetime appointments, it's very like monarchy. I don't know the word for it.
Like
I mean, I guess undemocratic would be the word for it. But yeah, oligarchy works too. Yeah, they're all these just old people.
Yeah, it's crazy that they are able to do that. And it's supported by both parties. That's something that both of them want to happen. It's
how you get
flipped.
long-term power.
Yeah. And I think before, in the days of like what they call the Warren Court, which is just when Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren was in
Is that ugly
in
guy,
charge.
right?
He's pretty ugly, yeah.
He looks like he has a stick up his ass, if I recall.
I guess.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
I mean, they all do.
I'm
kind
sure
of the
they
old
do.
white guys. But no, like that's the progressive court that was like, validating all the civil rights things and making those decisions. Liberals were like, yay, the court is good. And then when the court changed it, before that, the court had been, pretty conservative and stuff and had really gotten in the way of things. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. They should just not have the court have all those, have all those powers to fuck up what either of those parties want to do or what the people want to do, because we shouldn't let 9 people get in the way of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's ridiculous. Just the courts are ridiculous both on a macro and a micro level. Like, even smaller courts have way too much like individual power. They can just like make fucking sentences up for people. Like, it's just completely whatever the fuck they want to do.
Yeah, it's like in Game of Thrones or something when they sit in judgment of their the people in their realm. They're just feudal lords, basically.
They're holding court.
Yeah, that's a good assessment of it. Another thing I would add, I would challenge our listeners to consider, is that the basis of the Supreme Court or the judicial branch altogether is to basically play hall monitor and make sure that our government in its democratic institutions that are nominally under the control of people don't outstrip the will of its 18th century constructors of the Constitution.
It's true. Yeah. The whole thing is ridiculous. It's based on a bunch of old dead white guy slave owners.
That we should have to follow their guidelines for government. I know that we can update it, but we have to update it based on their old, slow guidelines about that.
Yeah.
I would say that to actually make a social democratic, a socialist, a communist future, you'd have to move past that.
Absolutely. I mean, I could understand the value of a constitution in terms of like, here are your, here are the rights no one can take away from you. But that's fine to have. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we need it for all this other bullshit. Like, I think it just gets in the way. If enough people want to change this, let's just fucking change it.
It should be easier to change.
It should be easier to change.
That's one thing that I definitely think. And as soon as we get the power to do that, that's something we have to tackle as socialists to get anything else going.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to keep having to resort to
executive orders and...
Yeah, you're going to have to resort to something.
Ain't good. All right. They kind of went into healthcare from this.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah, it was weird. Biden was like, no, I fucking love private insurance. Cool. My favorite line from Biden at this point was, no, the Democratic Party is me. I am the party.
I am the Senate.
I'm going to bust into rooms from now on just saying, I am the party. I'm here.
Yes, and I love that. He was, because Trump was trying to attack him as a socialist because the Democratic Party was socialist. And he's like, listen here, Mac, basically.
Yeah, like, I'll beat Bernie and it's fine.
I beat the hell out of him. Made it sound like he dragged him in a back alley and like, I showed that old man who's boss, But first question, on our first section anyway, we had socialists thrown out already.
Yeah.
So we got a shout out early on. Yeah, Biden loves private health insurance. That's his deal. He loves it, wants to keep it there.
He wants to marry it.
Make sure that it's still there.
He wants to marry it so it can be covered under it.
Which he's covered under a public government plan,
That's true.
He also made that strange thing about like giving a public option to people on Medicaid.
Okay, yeah, my note is I was confused on that. And then he also said, but only if governors are okay with it. And I'm like, so you're not changing it because that's how it is right now.
Yeah, I mean that you're talking about the Medicare expansion, right?
Oh, okay.
Or Medicaid expansion. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, all the red states are saying.
Yeah, they're all just they refuse the money.
Yeah, but my thing was with the Medicaid thing. If you give a public, I didn't understand how to give a public option to people on Medicaid because my understanding of Medicaid was that it was a government-run thing.
I
thought it was just like government-run healthcare, but for people who are too poor to afford healthcare.
Yeah, and that's how he laid it out. Was this is only for really poor people? I'm like, well, that is what.
Why would you give a public option to that when that's already run by the government? So you're not getting private Medicaid insurance.
I don't know.
I
don't think
that may have just been a Biden moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be misinformed though. So, and yeah, this dragged on, but this was actually part of the. This was actually part still of the Supreme Court section, as poor, already fatally wounded Chris Wallace tried to point out,
holding his innards in with one hand.
He was already had been repeatedly boxed in the nose by Trump, he said something like, "Oh, I guess I'm debating you now too," or something, and that was only the beginning.
God, yeah, he had a very school marm persona.
He was so ineffective. It was like watching like watching a first year teacher who's gotten all the good advice about how to get to know your students, whatever, and how to do a good, nice discipline plan and really do this kind of loosey-goosey sort of feel, and everything works. And it's great. And you reward them when they do good, but you don't do anything when they do bad. Just give them good positive attention, and don't do anything. Just ignoring the bad behavior will go away. It looked like watching that try to come together in a classroom, and this poor guy is just getting shivved at every opportunity.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then he would ask questions and be like, "Hey, do you think you're doing the right thing?" Basically, or shouldn't he get the chance to speak? He was asking questions that he didn't actually.
He asked rhetorical questions.
Yeah, and Trump would just talk because he was like, "What, you asked a question?" It's like any teacher with any experience will know that if you want to get a kid to be quiet, you don't ask them about anything. You just tell them what you want them to do, or change behavior, not just be quiet, but like tell them the behavior that they need to be doing.
Don't ask them questions about it.
Yeah, like
they will mouth off.
Yeah, they'll talk. I mean, that's what they want to be doing right now.
God. All right, where the fuck were we? Healthcare. I don't know. Trump said he already fixed ACA apparently by getting rid of the individual mandate.
Well, he already fixed it. Good.
He did it. Guys, good news. We fixed healthcare.
Trump at this point, like, started from the beginning and kept on going through the whole thing was interjections the whole time, right? He is just,
oh my God, yeah.
It's not true. Not true. He did it. It was him. No, that's
Total
not me.
lie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the entire time. That's like half my notes here. It's just like, I can't.
He eventually gets Biden to, I put this in all caps here, to just like yell at him or say something. He's like, shut up, man.
That was great.
Or something.
He said, shut up, man. And then later he said, keep yapping, man.
What do you want him to do?
Oh, that's good.
That's just ridiculous. I wrote over here, poor Wallace, trying to keep it together there mentally, because he says something like, we're going to move on to the next topic. I'm going to try to be serious about this.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he's like, no, it's because it was COVID. And he was like, let's try to be serious about this.
Okay. I thought he was like, it's okay, Chris, keep it together.
Keep it together. You can do this. Yeah, my note there was, dude needs a drink.
He really did. Oh, poor guy. So what did you have for the COVID area?
COVID area, I mean, it was a lot of vaccine talk. How far away are we from a vaccine? Do you trust your scientists? Do you not trust the scientists? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It was he said.
Yeah. Who do you believe, basically? Yeah. I did get one gem from it that apparently, I had to look this up, because they referred to Operation Warp Speed.
What the fuck? This guy's a big Star Trek fan. Between this and Space Force, like, this guy's a nerd.
Yeah, he calls them in there, like, regularly, his advisors, and he's like, hey, look at this. See that? See what he's doing there? Captain Picard, great guy, brilliant guy. How is he doing this?
Sir, that's a replicator. Those don't exist.
We need one of these. I want a Big. I could get a Big Mac every day if I got one of those.
I wouldn't have to get my chef to make it special.
Who do you think is his favorite Star Trek character?
Oh, he's
also series. What series?
He would be original series Captain Kirk. That guy's so irresponsible.
Okay,
I think he would.
Original series Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
I would think he would be next gen Riker.
Oh yeah, Riker's very smarmy and very ladies' man.
He's got a little aggression, but like he gets all the ladies. Yeah, like,
I could see that.
He's alpha.
That.
You know,
he's very alpha dog.
This is on brand, I think, for our podcast.
That really is.
But yeah, okay. So Warp Speed, that's the government task force or something that is trying. It's like the task force that's trying to get the vaccine out as quickly as possible to people. So it's called Warp Speed.
I hope they're at Warp 7.
And so Trump, I'm sure he concludes with all of their meetings with "make it so."
Make it so. Oh my gosh, that'd be really good, actually.
Or engage or something.
Engage, yes. I would do that. What else?
Yeah, the COVID section was weird for me. I think like is kind of a draw almost. Like they both got in good jabs at each other from their. I always look at this from your opponent's point of view. You're really not trying to win too many people over. You're either trying to convince the other person's proponents, like, they suck, stay home. Mm-hmm. Or you're trying to convince your supporters, like, did you see me own that guy?
Yeah, show up, tell all your friends to show up.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to convince a lot of people. Who is tuning in? Who is demented enough? Sorry, listeners, if this is you. But who is in that place in their life, maybe, where they show up to watch a presidential debate undecided?
I never know. Like, anytime, like, on the radio, someone is interviewing an undecided voter, I'm like, where did you find this person? Were they in a coma for, like, 10 years or something? And, like, they just have no context for what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know. Who is that? I
did like Trump's dig on Biden's mask, and he's just like, oh, he's got this mask on all the time. Biggest mask I ever seen.
It makes it sound like he's wearing like a full-on like 1940s gas mask.
Yeah, he's like in London during the Blitz or something. He's got his...
I have a note that he did one of his good jabs from the left of whenever he calls... he was talking about... this is in the COVID section. I'm trying to remember what it was. He's talking about... At one point he calls Biden like... the left, and he goes, well, I don't know what to call him. And like, I don't know, I just thought that was a very good play of like saying like, this guy isn't left enough, you know.
So the moderator said he was a left, and then
No, Trump said it. He like corrected himself.
Trump said, oh, okay. So Trump said, Biden, you're on the left. Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good. So I definitely, when you said that he was, you know, kind of punching from the left, I definitely picked up on that in the beginning parts, especially. He was getting in all these zingers for Biden. It was like he was, you know, like I said, trying to depress the vote for him. Mm-hmm. But specifically, people who are disappointed in him, and rightfully so, anybody who listens to us knows, this guy is not anything. He doesn't support anything, you know, that we actually want to do. He is less shitty than Trump.
For sure.
By a lot.
Yeah.
But he's a neoliberal. I mean, he's to the right of Barack Obama.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like
to the right
we're
of
going
Hillary
backwards
Clinton.
Still, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, it made sense. You know, a lot of the digs that Trump had on him, I was like, damn, like, that's true.
Yeah.
I ain't going to vote for you, Trump, but like...
Yeah, that's not going to win me over.
Yeah, but you got him. Like, that's true about him.
Yeah, he did that a lot, and it worked.
You have this note here about the rallies. They criticized...
Oh, yeah. So they asked Trump, like, oh, your rallies are, you know, with a bunch of people all crowded. You know, do you think that's safe, basically? And saying, contrasting that with Joe Biden's rallies, who are apparently very socially distanced and very small. And Trump was just like, it's because nobody wants to show up.
And that was, man, like, probably.
I wouldn't go to a Joe Biden rally.
What would I be
Christ.
There's nothing exciting is going to happen at the Joe Biden rally.
It's
nothing. I mean, gross shit is going to happen at the Trump rally. I'm not going to go to that either.
No, yeah, I'm not.
But you can get why his supporters. That's the real shit, man. Load that into their veins. Mm-hmm. That's why they want to go see Trump versus our supporters, or the broadly speaking, anyone on the left, Democratic Party regulars or people further left than that. Why would we want to go see Joe fucking Biden?
No one's inspired by Biden. Yeah. Everyone's just like, it's the right thing to do. You know, they can get really moralistic about it. They can get very scolding about it. Like, those are all the tactics I've seen. I have yet to see anyone under 60 who's pumped for Biden.
Who says, this guy's the real deal. He's going to... For sure.
Joe kept using this line. He did it throughout the debate of he doesn't have a plan, and it never stuck. It just never fucking stuck. Because all he would say is, yes, I do, and say some very small thing he did and say that was the plan. Yeah.
Plus, how many people voted for Donald Trump?
Because he had a plan?
2016, because he had a plan. This guy, I've heard him. He's got a great plan.
No.
Like, even from, like, if you want to try to take your centrist person or whatever, moderate.
Your imaginary Republican?
Yeah. The Republicans that Schumer talks to, the made-up Republican family. If you want to imagine these people, they would have voted for Trump because he's a businessman and he can handle the unpredictable stuff. Like, no one said, oh, he knows
what to do.
He has it written down what he's going to try to do.
If anything, they said the opposite of he's going to shake things up. That's explicitly not having a plan.
Yeah, he plans not to have a plan.
Yeah. It was not good.
And Joe is just like, he doesn't have a plan.
He doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. Okay. Like, he had this weird tone the whole time that he's just kind of like pleading with people.
It was very sad grandpa.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sad grandpa.
Oh.
So yeah, the COVID thing, I don't know. It was a weird section where Biden was just like, we need to shut more shit down. Trump was like, we need to reopen shit. And they both kind of pled those in a way that really shouldn't have moved anyone.
I don't think so.
Because, like, you get both sides, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, they were not really saying anything. Obviously, Trump was being a moron still, but, like, they were not really saying anything weird.
There was nothing mind-blowing about that section.
Yeah.
Let's see. We go to the economy. They talked about some new shapes of economies, V and K shapes. I wrote, are these sexy economy shapes?
So...
Tell me about these shapes.
That was weird. So I knew about beforehand the V-shaped recovery. Mm-hmm. Because this is what the Trump administration has been touting for a while. What any kind of economist any stripe really was hoping for. And basically, they're just kind of deluded about capitalism's like recovery capacity in this whole thing. Like, it's nonsense, but they are imagining that although we're witnessing, this complete steep decline, that just like the letter V, the recovery will be just as steep and quick. It will be you're down, but you're right back up. Everything will be fine.
I mean, for who?
For the overall economy, for the job creators,
so
for blah, blah, blah,
Yeah. It's for the slot machines, not for actual people.
Yeah.
All right, what's the K shape then?
So the K shape I had to look up because that was like, what? What is that?
Because I was like, are you flipping the K, like sideways?
Yeah, I was trying to like draw it, but I didn't want to draw too many because the letter K.
Yeah, that's true. I do see, you did draw 2. You came close.
Yeah, I was like, nope, stopping now. I don't get it. I'll look it up. But apparently it's so you drop, so the economy drops, downward slope, but like really steep, so nearly vertical slope, right? And then the economy splits. Kind of like what you were saying. It gets better for the rich, the stock market increases, but it gets worse for the poor. It goes down. So you have that split. That's the I don't know typographically what you call that. Those parts of the K, the kicker parts.
Shit, I don't know either.
I'm sure they have terms.
I'm sure they do.
That's what they tried to say with the K-shaped recovery.
Okay.
I don't think that Biden would have any policy prescriptions to address a K-shaped recovery because fundamentally he's arguing that he wants to create more jobs, which means he wants to help that top stem of the K. He wants to help the rich. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully some of that will bleed down to the bottom part.
It's a little K. This is a very lopsided K, I think.
Yeah.
This is not a good K.
Biden is for a fucked up alphabet, basically.
It's the chiller font.
Joker man.
Joker man, no. Okay. Biden did go on he tried to use some Bernie rhetoric here. He said he's complaining about millionaires and billionaires, but like, he clearly was not familiar with this new script. Like he fumbles every sentence, but he did particularly bad in this section. I thought he's not equipped to make that argument.
No, yeah, he's just trying to turn back the clock to the way things were under Obama. Like that's what he was on about. Even though, like you said, he really wasn't citing his name, he was still trying to convince people that it'd be fine.
Next was taxes. Of course, they had to talk about this big tax story that everyone's so scandalized by. I don't know why we're surprised. Amazon paid 0 in taxes for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Why are we surprised that one guy didn't pay taxes?
Yeah, and that was not surprising. That was easily parried. I mean, he was just like, so what? Like,
that's what people do.
Yeah, I tried to do that. You set it up that way. Big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't in charge, but still.
Well,
he was in power.
By his claim, he said that basically he was put in charge of fixing the economy.
I forgot. Yeah, he did it by himself.
He was the one. Obama said, Joe, fix the economy. It's tough, but I think you can do it.
Yeah.
This is what I think is so stupid because, like, Trump does have a point that Biden was in power, part of the establishment, part of, a group of people that he fundamentally thinks should still be in charge.
Yeah.
Part of an establishment that he fundamentally represents.
Honestly, yeah.
And we're supposed to think that Joe Biden is going to transform the tax code so that, gruesome incidents like Trump paying $750 of income taxes doesn't happen again.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. How does that happen? How do we get that? You're the tax czar. How do we actually get people to, pay a shit ton in taxes?
We have to trap Nancy Pelosi with an expensive fur coat or something and then just put her in a crate and put her just away. We treat her nicely in the crate.
Sure. Yeah. No torture.
Yeah.
And then eventually she's like, cool. Yeah. Taxes.
No, I'm just saying we just get rid of her. Parody.
Yeah. Just ask her to leave.
We ask her to leave. We get rid of her somehow. I don't know how.
I think an easier way would be to make her afraid that if she doesn't act fast, there's going to be a communist revolution.
I mean, I guess.
People start to do shit in government when they get afraid that people are going to do crazy shit.
It's true. I mean, you look at all the Democratic cities that passed a ton of they're defunding the police in some
You
cities.
burn one police station down, all of a sudden, stuff starts happening.
It's like, let's talk.
Not saying it should happen again. But
No, I don't condone the violence.
no.
God. Which is the next section, I suppose.
Yeah, I just mean that, Joe Biden does not have that kind of an ideology, and so if you're thinking about going to vote for Joe Biden, make the strategic decision. That's up to you. I can't tell you one way or the other. Like, who cares? Honestly. I mean,
Honestly,
who cares? That's not a great take on it, but
it's not. I think you should do it, but take precautions about it. If you have fucking pre-existing health conditions, I don't think Joe Biden's the guy to risk your life for. I just don't.
Definitely not. No, I just mean, how are we supposed to think that voting for Joe Biden is going to bring about any sort of change on the tax issue? Really fundamental change on
He's not out for change. He's out for back to the way things are.
He told people things won't fundamentally change.
Yeah.
And he meant it. That was when he was able to lucidly put something together.
But for a lot of liberals, that's what they want. They want to go back to feeling good because they had the right-looking guy in the presidency. He was eloquent, he was black, and so that means that we're over racism. They want to go back to that fantasy.
So do you think, though, that this opens up something that we should look at is, we're talking kind of to our audience and saying, you're right for not being excited about Joe Biden, you're right for not wanting to vote for him, all that.
Yeah.
But how do we talk to people who are, God, there's plenty of liberals.
People. I've seen so many people on my Instagram feed who are just vote. It's the most important thing you can do. And I'm like,
we won't get them in the context of this election, of course, but how do we, in the future, talk to them in a way that's
let's abolish the presidency?
Sure, yeah. That gets them in a social democratic direction first and then moves them in,
Yeah.
How do we start easing them in, gateway drug them into being leftists,
I don't know. I think a lot of it comes from mistrusting the Democratic establishment. There's so many Nancy Pelosi stands out there. I made a comic about Nancy Pelosi saying something fat phobic. Didn't say anything about her policies. Nothing. I just said she said something that was not good. Mm-hmm. And this woman immediately was like, "Don't you dare come after our queen!" And I was like,
"Oh no,
are you sure that's who you want your queen to be?" But you see it all the time. Every time she does a little clap back or something, she has a cool scarf. There's this whole league of mostly women ready to lay down their lives for this woman who doesn't give a shit about them.
Yeah. Or, might but won't really do anything.
No. Because it's all about show with her.
Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, I think in some way it's posturing. I guess I don't know her and her motivations. But fundamentally, her ideology is such that she is going to uphold capitalism to a degree where that comes first. Yeah. That is what matters to them most. But no, I think it's stupid to. We've already said it's stupid to have heroes. Don't do it.
But definitely don't have capitalist ones. I think that's the thing.
It's even worse, yeah.
Well, I think the issue with a lot of liberals, I don't know. I have mixed feelings with this because I have I would say, I have some leftist people in my online space, but mostly pretty liberal still.
Well, and we came from just regular liberalism.
I was a liberal a few years ago, and some of them are still pro-capitalism, I would say, but I see some of them saying capitalism sucks, LOL, but then still support these people. And I'm like, well, which one is it, hun? You can't do both.
Yeah.
And I say that while wearing a fucking Bernie Sanders t-shirt, but I also understand, I know he's not going to fucking solve all the problems. He didn't and won't. But I don't know. There's a difference to me between that and supporting Warren, who has said, I'm a capitalist. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
To me, I have a problem with that.
I think you want to go, in any case, with the furthest left person you can possibly get.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the argument that people are making now with Biden versus Trump, is they're saying,
it's better.
We can push him more than we can push Trump, which is probably true.
I don't know if we can, because I think all these liberals are going to say, we did it, let's go home. We voted, we did our big fucking civil act of service. I'm going to go home and go back to brunch.
But then you get into accelerationism. Then you get into saying, at least with Trump we'll have people on the streets. But at least with Trump you'll have more people in cages. But at least with Trump you'll have, more existential threats.
No, I hope Biden wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to clarify that. Trying to clarify
Let's
it for the
clarify
listeners.
that, yes, I hope Biden wins. most likely going to vote for him, barring some unforeseen circumstances.
But the downside would be that we are probably going to see, I don't picture it changing, we're probably going to see the same sort of decrease in popular action that we saw when we elected Barack Obama, and everyone said, cool, well, we're going home now.
We're done. We defeated racism, guys.
The war is over.
Yeah. Oh, they did bring up Hunter. That was funny.
In the economy section?
Yeah, and taxes. Because he was like, why did your son get paid however much from Russia?
Oh, hell yeah. He first started bringing up Hunter.
All right. For our listeners and for me, because I forgot, what happened with Hunter? I remember texting you this one time. That's how this podcast started, is because every now and then I would text Grady, explain this to me.
So the deal with Hunter back in 2014, Hunter, fail son extraordinaire, gets a $50,000 a month gig on a board of directors of a natural gas company operating in the Ukraine called Burisma Holdings.
Okay.
The owner being super corrupt, under corruption investigation since 2012, 2 years prior to when he's appointed to the board. He gets $50,000, which is almost as much as I make a year, a month.
Oh my God.
To be on the board of directors of a natural gas company. Now, Hunter Biden, naturally, being a natural gas expert, should be the guy that you go to for this, right? And so there's a lot of back and forth in terms of the investigation. In 2015, Ukraine got a new prosecutor general guy named Viktor Shokin, who put the whole thing on hold and didn't want to investigate it. The Obama administration, with Biden, pressured Ukraine to get rid of that guy, and they did, because he was like holding up their corruption investigations.
Okay.
And they really wanted to investigate corruption. And then that kind of feeds into the impeachment thing, because like there's back and forth to Ukraine and like a call from Trump about the aid to Ukraine or something.
Okay.
It kind of cycles back in, but the main thing is that he was bringing up was that Hunter had been on this board of directors with this shady job, and he also brought up this thing that like he had a wire transfer of $3.5 million from this lady, which apparently went to like a company that he co-founded.
Okay.
They don't know if he got the money or what. Who knows? It's kind of stupid shit.
Shady business bullshit.
My thing is that while Joe Biden may have been arranging this in sort of a corrupt way to get his son some money, Hunter Biden was by far too stupid to figure this out. He is, if anything, I actually don't know how he looks, but he's really stupid enough to be a himbo. So
I'm gonna Google him and see if he's hot enough. That's my job here.
During this time, he was probably battling his crack addiction, which is, a real thing.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Or hooking up with his brother's widow, which is also a thing.
Oh yeah,
he did.
I forgot about that. All right, he's not bad. He's a little smarmy looking.
So it depends on your type. If you're smarmy, if you go for the smarmy type, then he's a himbo.
If you want a guy who probably insults you, that's what
he negs.
He's gonna give some backhanded compliments for sure.
That dress makes you look less fat than the other one.
Exactly.
But anyway, he brings up Hunter, and Biden's like, he seems like he's seething.
Oh man, yeah.
He looks so pissed.
I will say at this point, I had a note that Biden did what I call the mad dad pause, which I feel like it's just a dad thing to do. Whenever you get so mad in an argument, you like close your eyes and like you don't say anything. And you get really scared. You're like, oh shit, he's not yelling, he's waiting,
Yeah. Quiet anger.
Yes.
They get to the next section there on race.
Ugh.
On race / the cops /
Law and order.
Law and order. And Trump wanted us to all know that he was the law and order guy, per my prediction.
You did it.
And Biden was the radical left guy. Biden, the radical left.
I fucking wish. And all these radical left Democratic mayors. Ooh, wow. I didn't know we had that many.
Yeah.
God.
They're just, and they get together in these radical left mayor meetings, and they debate whether we should have a vanguard party or whether we should have, a democratic.
We should be anarchists.
Yeah, it's tough stuff.
Yeah, they also regularly tear gas their citizens. So, yeah. Fuck off.
Law and order. Biden used the classic phrase, bad apples.
Here's the thing about this phrase. The whole phrase is, it's not just there's a few bad apples. The whole phrase is a few bad apples spoil the bunch.
Yeah.
So people use this phrase wrong all the time. It drives me insane.
They're just like, oh, it's just a few bad apples.
It's like, no, that's still a problem. You didn't learn the whole thing.
There's a thing I read recently that was, I guess you could apply, it's the same phrase, I guess it would be about moldy bread.
Oh.
But apparently when you have some mold on your bread, that's the mold that's like already, it's flowering to make new mold, but like the rest of the shit is fucking bad too.
You gotta tell your wife that she eats old shit all the time. I've seen it happen.
I'm sure. So I was like, oh, and then I threw out some old bread.
I guess I've done it too.
But
We've all really wanted a sandwich before, okay?
according to the actual saying, what Biden is advocating then is that we should get rid of the cops, right? I mean,
wish.
there are a few bad apples, so it spoils us a whole bunch.
Yeah, but that's definitely what Trump accused him of, wanting to defund the police, even though, no, he want to give him more funding?
Yes, he wants to establish a blue ribbon commission, apparently, and get everybody together to find the solution. Make sure that we do stuff to help the peaceful protesters.
A translation with that blue ribbon commission, sorry to interrupt, but that sounds like just a photo op. He wants a photo op.
There's nothing going to happen there.
Nothing's going to get done with that. It's going to be 8 can't wait if we're lucky.
Yeah, and I would say if we're quote-unquote lucky.
Yeah, no, not lucky, but...
wants to basically soup up the police. I mean, he wants to give them more shit, it sounded like. He wanted to help them.
They need more resources.
More resources. There you go. More weapons, more tear gas, more non-lethal projectiles that'll go into your eye and make you blind for the rest of your life. That's Joe Biden. That's Joe Biden's
shoot him in the leg.
police platform. Shoot him in the leg. He is the shoot him in the leg candidate.
Never forget.
Again, he's better than Trump, who has the Proud Boys on standby.
Oh my God, guys. That's what everyone's tweeting about right now. Understandably so.
Yeah, he said stand by, right?
There is no way that was an accident. He did not want us to condemn them. He just wanted to say, I see you.
Yeah.
Ugh, so
Gave
creepy.
them a shout out, basically.
He gave them a shout out. No, literally, one of their leaders tweeted that. Oh my gosh, shout out. Yeah.
Yeah. Proud Boys. Garbage. These are the same sort. They're the stormtroopers that the communists were fighting on the streets of Germany before the Nazis took over. That's what these guys are, the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
They're
scum of the earth.
They're street battlers, street fighters. Losers, idiots. Trump did a lot to activate his base in this debate. Between that and then when they got to election integrity, saying, I'm urging my supporters to go watch the polls, which that sounds like I'm going to be scared to go to a polls. Okay.
Me as a queer person, I'm going to have to look straight that day, guys.
I know what you do, because what are they going to do? What can they do?
I don't know.
There is a legitimate poll watcher. They're there to fucking follow the rules.
He didn't say that.
I know he didn't say that, but you can't let these people in unless they're just dressed down normal people. You can keep them outside, and you might have police and stuff out around trying to keep them separate, which is bad. Because,
I was going to say, because I love police.
Yeah, right? That's going to be...
That's going to make me feel safe.
But basically, what I'm going to do from a more privileged, pass for white male perspective is go cast my ballot, and then if I notice anyone being a visibly pro-Trump poll supporter, just give them the finger and go on. They shouldn't be there. They know they shouldn't be there, or on some level.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're right.
You will have lost your summer tan by then, so you will look less Mexican.
Yeah. But you're right.
That's terrifying,
He was
though.
ginning up toward his base the whole time, with the Proud Boys saying, I think Wallace managed to get a question in edgewise where he was asking about the workplace,
the diversity training.
There you go, with the critical race theory stuff.
Yeah, he said it's racist to learn about being racist.
Yeah, Trump said that anti-racism training is
racist. Anti-racism is racist. That's the new. It's like the orange is the new black. But
yeah, well, no, we didn't bring up the race.
Anti-racism is the new racism.
Yeah, he basically said that they were being taught to hate America in those trainings or whatever, and it's
that'd be cool.
Yeah, but they're not.
They're not
these
at all.
trainings are not that at all, and I don't think they do anything good for the Left Project.
No, here's what I will say. Based on what I have seen from companies, it is still very much rooted in capitalism to a disturbing degree. These companies, what they do, they will get all these minority group I guess, organizations in their companies. And so they can say, look, we have, a pride organization. We have one for Black entrepreneurs. We have one for women, all this. And then they turn around and use those groups to generate profit for them. This is on top of their regular ass job. Mm-hmm. They ask these groups to do free labor for them.
Free labor, but woke.
Yes, but under the guise of, look, we're reaching out to queer groups on this, so that counts as research and that counts as us checking a box. Like, just watch out, guys. Even if they're telling you nice things about diversity, always watch what their actual goal is, which is to make more money off of you, make you think that you're working in a nice enough place that you will stay there and defend them.
Yeah, as they say, work will set you free. I think that as the broader left project, like going to, as leftists who are dedicated to anti-racism, it's not going to piss anybody like us off to go to the diversity training at your job. It's going to be like, this is fine. I get all these things. I am against racism.
Yes.
But to just like be someone who either, who's erroneous about it, who thinks either I'm not personally a bigot, so there is no problem, or like all
I don't
these
see color, that kind of
all
thing.
these various, kind of stripes, bad takes on it.
Everybody's problematic parents.
When you get these people in there, there's ways to win them over to the broad left project and to kind of teach them over time. Having their boss bring them to a mandatory meeting, oftentimes, not paid in any extra way, either on their own extra time or at times when they're going to still be expected to do the same amount of shit that they were expected to do before.
Yep.
You're not going to really win them over to your side by having their boss take them out of that and have them in this mandatory meeting where all their supervisors are there and they're supposed to express their deep inner thoughts about race.
Yeah.
Like, that is not going to get us more converts.
That's not going to help.
We hate it for different reasons than Trump does.
Yeah. I mean, we need systemic change. We don't need to ask our companies to start teaching people civic duty.
Corporations are not going to be where anti-racism is won.
It's just not. It's not. Like,
on a global level, these guys are invested in racism. Like,
for sure. They need you to see brown people as less so they can keep making cheap things for you.
Yeah. That's what anti-imperialism around the world is about. Because these guys are going to support a racist structure around the world, so that they can extract from those other countries. Whether in America, in the imperialist heartland, they're going to say, "Oh, everyone here is American, everyone here is diverse, everyone here, diversity is good, and we're good."
But
Abroad,
they need you to other places.
Yes. Yeah.
And even in here too, within like the service industry. It's like the biggest industry here, but you're constantly encouraged to see that as not a real job and, only like lesser people are in those jobs. Like, obviously that's not true.
They're only for high schoolers, they're only for washouts, they're only for druggies, they're only for various things. That's terrible. That's a term that they would use for it.
Yeah, no, we obviously don't support that. Support your service industry people. Tip like crazy, especially right now.
Oh yeah. What else? In the Law and Order section,
Biden
is the cheerleader who says we can do anything if we put our mind to it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. He's also apparently, according to Trump, depending on who you listen to. If you listen to Trump, he's the scourge of the suburbs.
He's going to destroy the suburbs.
He rides around in a tank
great.
and just like blasts out McMansions. And then,
can you imagine?
His commandant Biden over here just laying waste.
No, we need green spaces.
But if you listen to Biden, he is the child of the suburbs. He grew up in them or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I represent the suburbs. Something like that, yeah.
It was something stupid.
He was weirdly proud of it.
Yeah.
He called Trump Putin's puppy. And that's
which is cute.
Very good. He meant to say puppet, but I prefer puppy.
That's not bad. I don't know. Putin's puppy.
I bet if Putin has a dog.
I could write in Putin's puppy. Like, that's not that bad.
What kind of puppy? He would have one of those big, white, fluffy ones, right? I bet.
Does Putin have a dog?
Probably not. He has horses. He's very into horses. It's all gonna be Putin puppy.
No, it's Coney.
Coney. Oh, he's a black lab classic.
Oh.
He's pretty cute.
Connie.
Oh, Coney.
It's spelled Coney, but it's Connie, I think.
Oh, Connie.
It's
Also known as Connie. Okay.
She is.
She's really cute.
She's 15. Oh, she died.
Oh, she died.
R.I.P. Connie.
Maybe he can get a puppy.
He has this one.
He's hanging out with this dog.
Pets of Vladimir Putin. This is what we want. All right, listeners, this is what you came here for.
This is the new episode. Pasha is the current reigning dog in the Kremlin. She is
alongside Vernie, Yume, and Buffy.
Oh, there's 3.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, that means 4 total, right?
4, yeah, 4. I can't count, guys. I didn't even drink.
And Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump.
So someone has edited the Wikipedia page as of recording time to say that Donald J. Trump from 2015 to present is Putin's dog. Trump was bought with investments in his real estate holdings through strawman investors.
That's very good. Thank you to our Wikipedia warrior who did that for us.
That's useless but funny.
That's very good.
Anyway.
Oh, that one's really cute, this little Akita puppy.
Yeah.
Yume.
Vernie.
Do you think he likes anime?
Huh?
Yume? That seems like an anime-ass name.
Maybe. Yume means dream in Japanese. So it's definitely some anime.
Yeah, he's into some like shoujo shit.
No, it's because he was given it in Tokyo as the Akita Prefecture's gift. So
that's his cover.
All right, point aside.
Okay, sorry, that was puppy talk. Last week we did cat talk.
Confirmed. Trump confirmed from the Wikipedia page he is literally Putin's puppy. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention in this that was funny was when Trump challenged Biden to name one law enforcement group that supports you. And Biden was just like, I
don't want to answer.
I think Chris Wallace bailed him out or something.
He threw him a lifeline.
This was so sad because every time that they were moving on to a next topic, Trump, when it wasn't his turn, would just be like, no, I'm going to get the last word in here anyway. Everything sucks because of them, and I'm great, and Chris Wallace, you're a loser. And, he would just like come in, right? But every time that they moved on, when it was Biden's last turn to speak, he would just be like, or whatever. He
just made a dejected face.
Yeah, when it was Trump's last term to speak, he would just be like,
yeah, he just let it go.
Yeah.
I will say, overall, I thought the monitor was leaning towards Biden. What do you think?
I think he was only in the extent that, I think personally, probably.
Yeah. Well, he threw him some lifelines a couple of times. I wrote, earlier in the debate too, in healthcare, I think he did the same thing. There was a tough question, he just pulled him right out and said, okay, moving on,
Just like, a wounded animal or something. I mean, he's trying to like help him, He's also birds of a feather. They're both getting beat the fuck up in there.
That's true.
He's like, hey man, we got to stick together. We're both getting hit.
Oh,
that was bad for them.
That was rough.
All right, so they got to this like candidates record section or something.
Yeah, it was kind of a catch-all category because we got very confused because the moderator at the beginning they had listed the topics they're going to go through, and then the moderator said, "Now we're going to go to climate change." That was not on the list of topics. So my note here is climate change, apparently.
Yeah, they got to their records, and Trump pulled like a "thank you for helping me" sort of move, and he's like, "Thanks for all the judge vacancies. I'm gonna fill them or whatever. You guys suck."
As if it wasn't Mitch McConnell's fault, but yeah.
And then you're right. They get to climate. Trump just dodged the whole time. Talked about forest management. You got to build cities in the forest, and you have everyone swinging from vines, and then they put out the fires. It's great.
Smokey the Bear over here.
He wants us to live like the Ewoks or something.
That sounds great, honestly.
Oh yeah, man.
Those guys are cute.
They're short, they're furry, they run around. It's great.
You get those little jackets. He accused Biden of being for the New Deal, which Biden shut that the fuck down. So don't worry, guys.
So awesome. Because Biden's out here like, I want to have all electric cars that are running on what electricity plants run on.
Coal.
Yeah.
The stuff that's bad.
I guess, his argument, he did say he didn't want any more coal-fired plants or whatever. He wanted to, transform those into renewables. Okay. But what's his timeline? 2035 for like net zero. That's not even.
He said 2050 for net zero.
He used to say 2050. He said 2035 this time.
Ooh.
Because, Bernie went out there and said, that's not a fucking nut, And so he was like, fine, 2035. Still not great. I mean, where are we going to be? How, climate-wise, how were we 15 years ago? No, 2005. Were we looking at the 3 hottest years on record?
No, we're
back
looking
to back
at
to back? You know?
every single year the West Coast is just on fire, and
Yeah.
we're all there just like, yeah, okay.
It's like, you know, our prescription for that is clean up your fucking underbrush. Like,
Have you guys tried sweeping?
have you guys built the little tree huts with the bridges between them? Like, have you started worshiping a droid as your deity? Like, no.
You should consider that. It was filmed in the Redwoods.
So he's a sci-fi nerd overall. Star
We're
Trek,
seeing a theme.
Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
they're great. They're cute. Little Ewoks. It's my favorite movie.
Okay, the weird part about the Green New Deal conversation to me is that Biden did spend a few sentences on saying, like,
It's good.
it's good and it'll pay for itself. And then immediately turned around and said, no, but I don't support it.
Yes, this was great.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, old man?
Yeah, he said it'll pay for itself. It'll be fine. And then I think initially before that though, he had said,
He'd already said he didn't support
"Yeah,
it.
that's not my plan."
I'm on
And
the
then-
Biden plan.
which has got to be great.
Listeners at one point, our Hulu, the app we were watching on it, did crash. And we were I think that it was just trying to give us a break.
Yep,
I think it was just worried about us. Are you
gave us a
okay?
mental break. Yeah, it was just like, we can't show this. I'm sorry, this is too bad.
You've been watching, the whole time? Are you okay?
It was kind of like when we mentioned up top about how sad it was to see Biden going through all this and Trump just dancing on him.
Yeah.
And you know, he's basically like an end zone dance the entire time. But it's like, what if Bernie was there? You know, and that's what I felt like with the Green New Deal section was. Why are you guys bringing that up? You're rubbing it in like
Yeah.
we know we don't have
I
this.
know.
We know that even if we elect the guy who hates it less, we still won't get it.
Yeah, no, I felt that so many times. Like, all the stuff that was said facetiously, like radical leftist mayors and, you know, learning to hate our
Antifa and
country.
all
And I
this.
was like, that'd be pretty cool.
But this guy, he ain't it, you know?
Then that last section was election integrity, which just was a very meta way to wrap up all of the despair into one package for me, you know?
Yeah. Well, it started out, I think Biden just makes like a blasé appeal
Go
to people
vote.
to vote. Yeah. You gotta vote. It's your duty, you know,
It's
whatever.
more sad, Grandpa.
Yeah. And then Trump, I thought, came out swinging.
He did some wild stuff, though. Like, I hadn't heard of any of these stories. Are they fake?
This was all, probably. I have never heard of them in any just regular news source about this. This seems like it's just like Facebook bullshit, or you know, just stuff like a relative would share with you.
4 this
Or
to 10
they-
of true Americans.
Yeah, and they wouldn't like post
God's
it to your
blessing.
wall, post it to your feed or anything. You know,
Oh,
they wouldn't do anything like that. They would like message it to you directly or something, and without comment. Just
oh yeah. No, check this out. Just here.
just yep. Like they would do something, you know. But he came out. He was talking. He brought out some oldies with the Clintons trying to do a coup on him with crooked Hillary or something.
He brought that back out.
He said the election would be a fraud. Mm-hmm. But that he's going, you know,
But he's gonna win.
Yeah, they're going to do well. He's probably going to win.
I'm gonna win
but
this
it's a
rigged
fraud.
election.
Same thing that he did in 2016, by the way. He said they were going to try to steal it, but he was probably going to win.
It's insane.
That's an oldie but a goodie from their point of view.
I mean, he talked a lot about. I liked your line on this, which was there were ballots in the wastebasket that said Trump on them. And what you said, what'd you say?
Okay, yeah, because he says they all had Trump on them. It's like they all had Biden on them too. Like they're just the names are printed on the ballot. What are you
That's how
talking
ballots
about?
work.
They didn't write you in. Please write a 300-word essay on who you think should be
They
president.
have a blue book. They also, he talked about selling ballots, like a postman selling ballots.
Yo, you want some ballots? 50 cents, you know? Like,
Dumping votes in the river. Like, this is some, like, 18th century nonsense.
okay, so they
Which that did
used
happen.
to do historically.
I remember that
yeah.
on an episode.
Yeah,
I paid attention.
that totally used to happen, for sure. But here, no.
Not so much.
No, not modern day. Maybe he was just trying to draw a parallel and be like, hey, with a paper ballot that's being delivered around, anything could happen. You know, they could lose a ballot box. They could do whatever. Sure, I guess. But
I guess.
That's not the argument he was actually trying to make. He was just saying some bullshit that he saw on a post, and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Did not watch the video.
No, just saw the headline.
Yeah.
Which we've all done that, okay?
Sure, yeah, we've all been there.
And then, basically the last, I think it was the last question, was, will you commit to waiting until all the votes are counted? I mean, Trump didn't. He just didn't.
Yep. Biden said, yes, I will definitely do it. Win or
For
lose.
sure, yeah.
Win or lose, I commit. And Trump said, yeah. Trump just argued.
He just said, if it's a fair election, but it's not going to be, just... And then it just ended. There were no closing statements. The moderator just seemed to have had fucking enough.
Dude, even if I had closing statements written on my script, I'm cutting it at that point.
Yeah.
That guy, seriously, thoughts and prayers.
Needs a drink.
He needs to be on, he just needs support from everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't like him.
I'm feeling bad for a Fox News commentator. Something's going on.
I don't like him. He's a conservative. Listeners, you shouldn't agree with his political views, but poor guy. He really seriously got stomped out there. Yeah, not on the right side. Ultimately a class enemy. But damn. you still hate to see it. He got owned hardcore.
I mean, Biden did too. Honestly, I didn't feel as bad for him, but yeah, it was sad.
No, but when he thought he was going to go out there and be this big man and be all macho, and I'll challenge him to a push-up contest or whatever. He's IQ test. He's just, he's all got this machismo going on. And what does it bring him? It brings him nothing. Well,
you could tell, we talked about this, he definitely had some canned lines ready, and Trump wouldn't even let him get him out, in a full sentence.
Yeah.
If he wasn't interrupting himself by just, fumbling the English language, Trump would jump in there and do it for him. So, there was he didn't even get a soundbite out of that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I would play if I were a news organization right now.
That was...
Can you imagine that editing room right now?
The guy is a fascist. The guy is terrible. That was a masterful performance by Trump.
It was.
100%.
Yeah, you fuck him off the floor.
His team got him ready. I don't know how much prep he did or if he just pulled this out of his ass.
I love that story before that was they've been setting expectations low for prep. Uh-huh. Like the kid who doesn't study or says he doesn't study.
Oh, yeah, I haven't prepared at all. I didn't do the reading.
Oh, me? I just walked in here. And Joe was here, so I thought we'd talk.
Yeah, I mopped the floor.
Absolutely crushed him.
Route. On the other hand, for anybody, I don't know how many people there are out there like that, but if you know people who are, more decency people, this probably turned them off.
Yeah.
If there are people who are out there who are mainly critical of Trump for his decency and saying oh, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's rude, he's crude.
Yeah,
he's got to.
There's plenty of people without a class analysis, without any sort of, real political view of things.
Yeah.
That just say who can have a beer with, who's good, who's moral, whatever.
Who's respectable is a big one.
All this shit, right?
Who's going to make us look good to the world?
And if anybody like that was saying, well, Trump's a successful businessman, so he'll be good or whatever, which I don't know why they would still vote for him in 2016 when, he was an ass then too.
I don't know.
And change their mind now. Oh, he's too much of an ass now. But still.
Well, last time he had Hillary. So I think that was a big
They were it's fine to be an ass to Hillary because Hillary's hateable also?
Yeah, I think so.
So there might be people who are but he beat up on poor old Joe there. That looked really bad.
I think so. I think he's going to get a little grandpa sympathy.
Could be.
Not much, but...
He can only hope because...
That's all he's got going for him.
The only things he landed were things where I thought when he said the thing about the rallies where Trump was, where he said, Trump only cares about not getting the disease himself, but everybody in the stands or something. He's he doesn't care about you or something. And I was everyone knows that that's true. And that kind of cut through is kind of snap back. Yeah, you're right. This guy doesn't care about people. Sure.
He did that a lot. Biden addressed, I guess it's not talking in the second person.
Camera.
He addressed the camera a lot and said, you have to do this, or he did a lot of you talking, which I thought was funny. But
yeah, I mean that's in a way.
I think that's normal to do.
Yeah.
But this was not a normal debate, so it just came across as oh, we're doing that now.
Yeah, I think this is over the moon, ecstatic. Everybody in the Trump camp is amazed that they could possibly have done this well. I think people in the Biden camp are probably split between people who thought that, and I think it's probably the minority that think that we played a respectable and good. We played to people who we showed everyone that he was a clown.
True, but that's what Twitter says. Yeah. It's mostly just talking shit about Trump.
Yeah.
And bringing up like, oh, he didn't condemn white supremacy. He didn't say he would pull out of the election. And we're like, yeah, we knew that would happen. Like, but is this news? Does that change anyone's mind?
One of the differences that we have is that I think a lot of liberals try to imagine America as this sort of West Wing picture of a good and sensible populace, you know, trying to make good decisions and really bring in their A game. They're all A students. They're all trying to do their homework and they're all trying to do their best on the project. Yeah. They're all nerds. And what we see is people who barely tune in, who, you know, are really just in it for the sound bites, if they're in it for it at all, because they're struggling through shit on their own.
Yeah.
They're dealing with all sorts of things in their lives. And, you know, if they bother to tune into this, it's really going to be kind of barely.
No, it's going to be the 30-second clip highlight on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's just going to be like...
Which, again, I don't know how the fuck you would pick one, because how much of this, percentage-wise, how much do you think of this debate was crosstalk?
Oh, God. At least 25%.
I was going to say 25%, at least. I think it was more like 35.
Yeah.
There are full minutes where I was like, I can't understand what they're saying. I'm going to check Twitter.
And that's crosstalk from the candidates and from the candidates and the moderator. Because, like, so Trump would just... I'm telling you, he early on was, of course, going to go all out on the attack on Biden, trying to get under his skin. But he was also boxing at the moderator, too.
Yeah, you could tell he was frustrated.
Yeah, and Wallace, poor guy, you know?
Yeah, but he did a lot of scolding.
It was completely ineffectual.
It was, yeah. I think he did a sad dad pause, too, or a mad dad pause. His was a little more sad.
It was sad, yeah. I don't know. I think ultimately, while Biden may have exposed Trump as a clown to people predisposed to vote for Biden, I don't know if he definitely doesn't ding any support from Trump supporters already. Definitely not. I think that their poll numbers are going up because they see that their guy is going to fight for them.
Yep.
I don't think I think that my prediction on Biden's going to go wrong. I think he will get an increase in support. I think like some of the undecideds are going to go a little bit toward him.
Yeah, the people who want to be polite.
Yeah, like people who are on respectability thing. He might get a 1-2 point poll boost or something.
Okay.
Because grandpa sympathy, like you said. I don't know.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. Okay, should we wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap up there. That was our debate night in America coverage for Teach Me Communism.
All right. Please, 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 for the love of God, go to our Patreon and pay us for doing this. That was hell. So, we haven't picked a charity yet, but we do plan on donating those profits because we both have jobs and we're doing okay. So, it's not just for us. It's more just validation in terms of compliments.
Yeah.
Do that too. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Had a couple questions about Android users. You can still leave a review on Apple Podcasts, I believe. You just have to sign in or something. Or you can find out about reviewing on your own podcatcher of choice. We're on Twitter at teachcommunism. We're on Instagram at teachmecommunism. And you can email us, teachmecommunism@gmail.com, if you have a question, comment, suggestion for an episode, correction to anything egregious we said. We're not experts.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're just people who talk.
Next week, we will get to Che Guevara, as promised.
Hell yeah.
That'll be much better than this.
It will be
This is rough.
So much better. Such a relief.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go home. I didn't even get drunk. I was just too sad to drink.
I did a little bit because it was really funny. It was sad, but funny. I've got a dark sense of humor, I guess.
Yeah.
I know that, it should not be funny because the world's just going to end and we're going to watch these, clowns like this. If it's not this clown, it's going to be the same, some other shit show 4 years from now.
It's true.
And without some sort of class analysis, it's just going to keep being that way. Without some sort of popular solidarity movement, this is what we're going to get.
Yeah. 2 points on that. One is, I was telling you earlier, I feel like I had successfully sequestered myself from politics. I saw it on my feed, but I had filtered it through my communist brain to be like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
So this just was a really rude return to Earth. I hated it. I don't want to come back here again. I would like to return to my cloud.
We will judge by the listener feedback. Guys, tell us if in social, tell us an email, tell us what you think. If you want us to continue doing this in the future, if you hate us that much, let us know.
Please release me from this prison.
If you're like, nah, this wasn't the best, let us know that. We will not hold it against you at all.
Either way, we'll listen. We'll try to. I don't know. We might just ignore you if you want us to keep going. Because it sucked.
Yeah, I'll still watch it. I'll give you a late night
It can just be great.
nonsense. And it'll suck if we do that. So any, poor souls who prefer me over Christine in the mix.
Wrong people.
Yeah, sorry you have the wrong fave, but...
Oh, yeah, I had a second point. I'm watching Korra right now, 3rd season. The bad guys are anarchists, and it sucks, man. I know.
What?
I mean, okay, but I was
are they anarcho-capitalists or something?
No, they're not anarcho-capitalists, but they're... Some of the shit wasn't bad. They did kill the Earth Queen, who, is a tyrant and was overtaxing her people, and, that city was riddled with inequality, and I'm like...
No gods, no masters.
It wasn't a bad idea. And that's what they said. It's a very simplistic version of anarchism where they're just like, we just want freedom and and
yes.
we don't want kings and queens and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, also yes. But
they don't have any social code.
They don't have any, they don't have any systems in place. And of course, immediately went to rioting and looting. And it was just like.
So is RoboCop anarchists? This city would tear itself apart.
Yeah. It was upsetting.
And shout out to this is my working theory.
You're
of
very into RoboCop.
Yeah, it's the lens through which I view it all. Biden had that, had this soup up police thing where it was just we just need to give them more shit. We need to put in place a program where we can program them with the 4 directives, and basically is what he's going.
Yeah, essentially. Let's wrap up for real this time. Go watch Korra. First 2 seasons are a little bit rough, but 3rd season is where they find their stride. Yeah.
All right. And listeners, you can catch us next week when we'll give you a real episode of Teach Me Communism, where the class struggle is always in session.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.